Your excursion was canceled? It happens. It's part of cruising. Weather can be unpredictable, but you planned, you spent your money, you had exactly what you wanted to do, picked out, carved out, and that excursion might have even been the reason why you chose your cruise. It's tough, but today we're going to talk about a 3-plan step to make sure that no matter what happens, you can still have a good time. I'm Brandon Pitt, and you are on the Pit Stop. Let's get into it. So your excursion was canceled. That obviously is never fun for anybody. My most recent cruise, we came into Cozumel, came in the beautiful Cozumel port, and we were getting everything ready. We were getting packed up. We even didn't get off as soon as possible because as soon as I get into port, if I'm doing my own thing, which I typically do, which we'll talk about in another video, how to plan your excursions by yourself. But I typically do my own thing in port, and we were doing one through the cruise line because we had a lot of people with us, and my family wanted to do that way. And so we had it all planned out. We were packed. We were ready to go, and we get a notification on the app. Your excursion has been canceled. And then it was an excursion I was very excited about. It was like the speedboat thing out to a private island. I'd never seen the excursion before. That might have been one of the reasons it was canceled, because it was a newer excursion. But it was canceled nevertheless. So we had to pivot. And that's one of the biggest things. We're going to talk about 3 different things that you need to do in order to ensure that no matter what happens, you will still have a good time on your cruise. And the first one in my 3-step plan is travel insurance. I'm not going to talk about this one for too long. Let me know down below if you want a video just on travel insurance. I've traveled with insurance and I've traveled without it. It's not always necessary, but it's not necessary by any means for not always is it required. But it's relatively a good idea. I've heard like the horror stories of people on mopeds in Cozumel or people on mopeds somewhere else on a cruise. And they get hit by a car or something like that, and their insurance did not cover their medical expenses. Like, there's just all these horror stories, so it's a good idea. But most travel insurances, if you're on a cruise, will cover port of call misses. Sometimes if you're on a cruise ship, this isn't what happened with ours. Our excursion was canceled, which can happen due to weather. But sometimes if weather is so bad, or if we saw COVID when COVID was outbreaking, if other things that they can't control happen at the port, and if you have to skip the port altogether, the travel insurance will pay you since you weren't able to go. Because cruise lines, whenever you sign your thing on a cruise line, most of the time you don't get anything back besides like the fees for the port if you miss your port. But the travel insurance, I've seen it even give up to $100 per person that missed that port for that day. You just have to prove it and get an email. So that's one area if you miss. Another area is sometimes I've even seen additional dollars given for missing your experiences or your excursions if they get canceled. So check into that. Our second area, or our second step to this 3-step travel plan to always make sure you have a good time on your excursions, is to have a backup plan. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go book another excursion. I'm saying you just need to understand your port. I like to spend a good hour to 2 hours. I'm a nerd. You don't need to do that. But I like to spend an hour to 2 hours for every port that I'm going to, and understanding how to travel, how to understand the taxi situation, how to understand the public transport, whether there's Uber in that country, whether I need to get a different phone, add on, or if I'm going to have to pay for cellular, whatever it might be, right? Like, I like to understand the country and the port that I'm going into because I love travel. With that, I always put a backup plan into my travel. For example, we knew we were going on an excursion, but I knew in the back of my mind, if something happened, we could easily shuffle and do Mr. Sancho's, which is a place I had been to before. I know Cozumel very well. In this last year, I've been there five times in the last 12 months. So like I've been to the port a lot, and I enjoy the area, and I know how to get around it relatively cheaply and safe and easily. So there's different hacks to, get around any island or any area. So but I understood that. And for us, we were able to pivot to Mr. Sancho's. I'll put a link in the description for a video that's just over Mr. Sancho's, as it's an amazing place to stay and not stay, but to go visit for a day, as it's all-inclusive food, drinks. They got great pools and amazing reefs if you enjoy snorkeling. So highly recommend it, and there'll be a link at our experience when we pivoted when ours was canceled. So having an area to pivot and to know this is where we're going to go if there's a cancellation, just so that you have a backup plan and you can still enjoy the time that you have at the port. Now, there are some ports that I don't necessarily recommend doing your own thing at. I've been to places like Roatan, which is close to Honduras. I've been to a couple other ports that I just don't necessarily enjoy doing my own thing for safety reasons, for just lack of understanding the culture. So just know your port, and in some ports, you don't even have to leave the port to have a good time. A great example is if you're on a Carnival cruise and you're going to Roatan Island, which is in Honduras. That port specifically, Carnival has paid hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to renovate and retrofit that port, and it's not by any means a private island, but they have beach access that's really nice. That I've been to, and I will do another video on that if you guys want it, that I've been to, and it's a great area. There in Mahogany Bay is what they call it, and it's you don't even have to leave the port. You can just walk down. It's completely free, and you can just be at the beach, be on loungers, and they have food and drink if you want it. That's obviously extra, but that would be a good that could even be your backup plan, is just staying in the port if it's a good port. The Cozumel port that we went into was not the big one that's used for Carnival and Royal Caribbean. It is the smaller one, which was still a good port, as there's two ports that you can go to as a cruise ship. And we were on Disney, so it was at the smaller port, but there wasn't that much to do there. We walked around it and, got to do some shopping and things like that. But it was, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and we'd seen just about everything there. So know your port and know where you're at so that you can have that backup plan if you need it. What's up, guys? Thank you for watching to this point in the video. If you're enjoying what you're learning in preparation for your next cruise, I want to invite you to subscribe. While we're talking about subscribing, I have a giveaway that I want to announce. You heard that right. It's a giveaway. When we get to our first 10,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a free cruise. You heard that right. So you need to be in one of those first 10,000 subscribers. So hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the notification bell, and subscribe, as it really helps us grow and continue to get great content for you guys. But we also want to give back to you. So when we hit that 10,000 subscriber mark, we will be doing a free cruise for one of our first 10,000 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button and join us for this journey to 10,000 subscribers. And when we get there, one of you will be going on an all-inclusive, everything paid for cruise. And our third thing on this 3-step plan to always having a good time on your cruise, even if something gets canceled, is flexibility. Man, you're on vacation. Be flexible. Have a good time. I've been on how many cruises now? 12 cruises. It's 12 cruises. I've been on 12 cruises. And out of those 12 cruises, I've only had one excursion canceled, and I've had 2 excursions that have been changed, and I could have canceled it if I wanted to. Also in Cozumel, also due to high winds. So just know that if you're going into Cozumel, have a backup plan if you're doing something where, you're going to be in the water. Just have that in mind. It doesn't happen a lot, but be flexible. The cruise industry is an amazing thing, and there's so many different things that you can go and do on your vacation. So be flexible, have an open mind, and just enjoy every single minute of it. Don't get stressed out over the little things. You're on vacation, and ultimately, you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, we did something spontaneous, and this was fun. It might take away from it a little bit, but if you're flexible and you go into it with a good spirit and having a good, let's get this done, let's have fun mindset, it will make everything that much better. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you now know what to do if your excursion gets changed or canceled. Let me know down in the comments below if you've ever had an excursion that was, changed or canceled, and how you were able to be flexible, and if you had a backup plan and what you ended up doing. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope that every single person enjoys cruising and enjoys life as it comes to you. Peace, guys. We'll talk to you later.